The next checkmate that we'll be going over is called the Arabian mate. In the Arabian mate, the king is already very close to the corner, either on h8 or g7, or of course on b7 and a8. So when the king is already so close to the corner, we have a knight supporting a rook, or some other piece supported by the knight, that gives checkmate eventually on h7 or g8. This is better understood if we show an example. Let's look at this position. Here, white seems to have a big attack against black's king. White has his queen on in 7th rank, and black's king seems relatively unsafe, especially with this knight lurking around. However, it seems like white can't really break through in this position because he has the rook and knight here. So what should white do? Well, turns out that white can use the queen sacrifice. This knight here is so powerful that white can give up his queen for the rook and eventually still give checkmate. So after queen to f8 check, black is forced to take back with his king, and now we can use Arabian's mate. The whole point is that the king will end up being trapped near the corner on g7 here, and we can use the knight and a rook to give checkmate. So we first play rook to e8 check, and after king to g7, we come back and use rook to g8 checkmate. Notice that the knight must be protected for this to work, because the pawn protects the knight, the king can't take it, and the knight would support the rook. This would be checkmate. In this last position, we see that black is up a piece in here. However, that's not white. In the last position, black is up a piece. However, that's not white's biggest problem. In this position, it turns out black also has an Arabian's mate. This time, we first need to get our knight to a knight post. Well, it seems like this knight is the closest one to getting to a post, and that post would be on g3. But the queen's there, so we must think about how this would work. It turns out that black can play the move queen to h2 here, check. After queen to h2, white's king is forced to take the queen, and after that, knight to g3 check, white plays king to g1, and now we can see that the knight here is on a post and supporting the h1 square, where it's perfect for the rook to swoop in and give checkmate. So the important thing to remember about Arabian's mate is that the knight and rook can work together to give checkmate, especially when the king is short on squares. It usually helps when the knight is on a post, and this can happen a lot of times when the king's unsafe and being attacked.